Good morning, Unity of Greenville. How are you this morning? Enjoying that wonderful music that we have going this morning, provided by Jeff and Chris. Yay! Love the music, love the music. Hey, thank you for joining us this morning. If you're with us via live streaming, we appreciate you taking of your morning to be here. And for those of you that are in the house, how was your week? Busy. I heard busy. I heard fabulous. Oh, I like that. Fabulous. Mine was pretty darn good too. Of course, these days I consider any day that I get up and greet the day when I wake up in the morning, it's a good day. You string those all together and it makes for a good week. Hey, I'm going to tell you something you need to know today. It is World Party Day. It really is. The motto for this day is pass the food and turn up the music. And it just so happens that it's also National Chocolate Mousse Day. And I don't mean like a chocolate, I mean a chocolate mousse day. So see, you could fix the chocolate mousse and you can have World Party Day at your house or whatever, just you and the chocolate mousse. Turn on the music, it's great. It's also Independent Artists Day. That's a great thing to remember. We're celebrating the global community of independent artists and their unparalleled creativity. So hey, lots of things to celebrate today, right? Yeah. So we're going to take a moment to gather ourselves in. You've had your energy dispersed in a lot of different places this morning. We're with our community this morning, and it feels so good. But we're going to take a moment to just gather all of that energy in to ourselves. Take a couple nice deep breaths. Relax into your space, and we're going to focus on the idea this morning of inner peace. Our affirmation for this morning is I think peace, I feel peace, I am peace. So if you'd like to say that with me, I think peace, I feel peace, I am peace. Peace lives in my heart, at the place within me where all appearances of separation dissolve. I feel only peace, only God, only oneness. This peace is always mine, part of my divine inheritance. I carry it with me through every experience, every moment of the day. Nothing can destroy or even disturb my peace when I invite the divine presence, the Christ of my being, to be my constant guide. A passing thought of fear, worry, or anger is a reminder to breathe, to release negative energy, and to embrace peace. I feel renewed when I meditate, enjoy a walk in a peaceful garden, or take a moment to appreciate natural beauty wherever I find it. My indwelling peace manifests all around me as beauty, harmony, and bliss. And Psalms 29:11 reminds us, may the Lord give strength to his people, may the Lord bless his people with peace. So just take a nice deep breath of that, feeling that peace, letting that carry you throughout your day today. And remember, when anything comes up that isn't peaceful, just take time to breathe. Remind yourself to breathe. And now we turn it over to Reverend James. He's going to talk about flower power this morning.
Hello, flower children. We're going to see if that's what you are today, all right? First, I want to start with some springtime funnies. So allow me to spring some jokes on you. Is that all right? Why are waterbeds so bouncy? Because they're filled with spring water. Does February march? No, but April may. What month of the year is the shortest? May. It only has 3 letters. Why couldn't the little flower ride his bicycle? He didn't have any pedals. Sad. It is sad, isn't it, really? When you don't think too deeply about this. How do brand new spring flowers greet each other? Hey, bud. Can we get a camera on Chris? He's had years of experience of rolling his eyes. He's learned it from his mother. I don't know why, but anyway. You know, I just opened a flower shop and business is blooming. Oh, my. All right, we had a good laugh. We've aligned our clown chakra. So is everybody feeling pretty good this morning? Yeah, you're looking good. You're looking good. Yeah, absolutely. This must be the 25 and 30 crowd, huh? You're supposed to, yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, I want to start this story. It goes back way, way, way back. Millions of years, hundreds of millions of years, when the earth was being formed and shaped and created, and the divine presence was in all things and beginning to reveal what this was all going to be and how it was going to come about. And at some point after billions of years, something appeared that was different and unique and special. It was a flower. Just one. One beautiful flower. And it came up. And then it disappeared. And then it wasn't until sometime later that all of a sudden many flowers began to bloom upon the earth. And there was color everywhere. Color everywhere. Did you know that flowers really don't serve a utilitarian purpose? I mean, they do, but we're going to pretend like they don't today. And in a lot of people's minds, they're not practical. I don't like flowers because you buy them and you set them out there and then they die in just in a week or two. Why would I waste money on flowers? Well, it's important to understand what that flower means, what it represents, what the divine is speaking to us and trying to say. There's a scripture in Song of Solomon 2:12. It says, "The flowers appear on the earth once again, and the time for singing has come. And the voice of the turtle dove is heard in the land." What is the turtle dove? What are doves symbolic of? Anybody know? Peace. Yeah. Flowers are beauty. Flowers are the Christ consciousness. It's the divine manifesting in physical form so that you can see it and see the color. And the singing and the dancing and the lightheartedness. Why? Because something has changed. Something new has been brought forth. Something wonderful. And if you're not paying attention, you just might miss it, right? We know that turtle doves are known for their gentle cooing sounds. You can hold a dove in your hand if you can catch them. And the slightest movement, they'll fly away. So you have to learn to be still, absolutely, totally, completely still when you're holding a dove in your hands. What a great practice of meditation. To be still. And then you hear the sounds of the cooing of the dove. And what does it do? It reflects back to you the peace, right? It reflects peace back to you. So the flower in the Bible has always symbolized beauty, fragility, being fragile, and the love of God. It represents unconditional love. How many would look around the world and say, we haven't reached that place yet? And you know why? Because the flowers have not bloomed yet, right? There are a couple flowers that were mentioned in the Bible, the Rose of Sharon and the lily of the valley, and they speak of that beautiful essence of the Christ Spirit. So, this divine mind is in everything and talking to us, speaking to us, if we're paying attention, if we're noticing. How many are learning how to notice what you notice? Anybody here? Are you noticing what you notice? Are you paying attention to what's really going on? You know, it's so easy to get caught up in the trappings of the world and the noise and the chatter and the busyness. Anybody here busy besides me? You know, it's important to take time and just be, right? Isn't it? You see, this earth is actually the garden of God. That's what it was called in Genesis, the garden. This is the garden, the divine garden. And the harvest is unconditional love. And the flowers are the ones that are the first fruits that are significant when they show up. They're saying, hey, look at me and see yourself. Look at me and see the beauty in you. Wow, have you ever looked at something so beautiful that you just couldn't take your eyes off of it? Now, we got some flowers this morning that we put out here so that you could look and see and have something to look at. But how many understand that what the divine is telling us is that you and I are the flowers? You and I are the flowers, each one of us. And all flowers are different. They're all unique, aren't they? They really are. They're unique and they're different. Different colors, different scents. Love is beauty. Beauty is love. Flowers are beauty. Flowers are love. That's why some of us guys know when you're in the doghouse, what do? You buy flowers. And chocolate. Yeah. Yeah. Because why do we do that? Well, because it gets us out of the doghouse. No, I mean, because we appreciate our significant others, right? I appreciate my wife. And it helps elevate her mood, you know. Flowers are just beautiful, aren't they? And chocolate, oh my goodness. But I could do a whole sermon on chocolate, and I have. On chocolate, whoo, but we won't get into that. That's a side. That's a rabbit. You see it over there? It wants me to come over there, but I'm not going. All right? Are you with me this morning? So love is beauty. Beauty is love. Love is flowers, and comes from a fully aware flowering of consciousness, a flowering of consciousness. You see, there's something that happens in a person after a while, after they have practiced their spirituality for a while. You begin to flower. And in the Bible it talks about you begin to share the 9 fruit of the Spirit, the love, which is the first. Love, unconditional love. And out of that comes joy and peace, and patience and gentleness, kindness, temperance or balance, and faith. All of these things come from that communion, that connection with the divine. And that's how the flowers are, that's how they grow. That's how they blossom. And that's what you and I are. Emerson said that love is like wildflowers. It's often found in the most unlikely places. Isn't that something? You never know where love's going to appear, right? How many have met the love of your life in an unusual place? Anybody here? You don't have to tell us what it is, but there's a proverb that says, stop and smell the roses. Stop and smell the roses. Why? Do you know that rose oil is the most expensive oil? of them all, because it takes literally thousands of roses to make it. But the scent is so healing and beautiful and wonderful. There's nothing like the smell of the rose, is there? Right? Max Muller said, a flower cannot blossom without sunshine, and a man cannot live, or a woman or a man, without love. Without love. We can't exist without love, because that's the whole reason we're here. That's what the flowers are telling us. Listen, Jack, pay attention. There's something more than just survival. There's something more than just, being born, bugged, and buried, right? That's how most people are. They're born, then they're just annoyed about everything. They're bugged their whole lives, and then finally, they're buried. I know that there's something more than that. Yeah, there's a higher life, a higher good, a higher joy. How much joy can you stand? How much? Well, James, I could take a lot of joy. Well, I don't know. Because you got to make room for it. It means you have to empty out that other stuff, the bitterness, the grumbling, the complaining, the anger, all that other stuff. You got to get rid of it and make room for joy. You have to make room for it. It's what the flowers are trying to tell us if we'll just listen, right? There are always flowers for those who want to see them. You got to want to see. You got to want to see the flowering of consciousness. You've got to desire it. You got to look for it in your life. Flowers are a symbol of what life can be when we grow up as humans on this planet. Right? How many understand that there's a lot of immaturity out there today? And I'm not talking about anybody in here. It's all out there. Oh, yes. Why, there's no immaturity in here. We're all fully grown, fully manifested as sons and daughters of God. Amen, somebody. Everything that irritates us about our others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Oh, you didn't have to say that, James. Come on. He stopped teaching and gone to meddling. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding about ourselves. The reason I can see the quirkiness in you is because that same quirkiness is in me, or I wouldn't have recognized it. I wouldn't have noticed it. Notice what you notice. I wouldn't have noticed it. Carl Jung said that. Carl Jung also said a healthy person does not torture others. Generally, it is the tortured who turn into torturers. Ooh, isn't that interesting? Is that deep? Yeah, that's deep in here, isn't it? How many remember the 60s and the 70s? Okay, some of us don't remember. But you were there, I'm sure. In the 60s and the 70s, young people began to question the validity of endless war. And the flower became a symbol in the 60s and 70s. It became the flower children of non-resistance and non-violence. Peace and harmony. The brotherhood of humanity. Flowers were worn in the hair and became popular in clothes. It's when everybody started wearing flowers in their, their dresses and their clothes. It's painted on the side of Volkswagen vans, big old flower. There were sit-ins and music festivals and dancing, and they just rapped with each other. Of course, rap back in those days had a different meaning than it does today. bright floral prints became extremely popular, as did floral-inspired patches. You know, you get you a patch, you get a hole in your britches, you get a flower patch covered up. And some hippies even painted the flower symbol on their faces to show their support and dedication to the cause of peace and harmony. I wouldn't say that everything that they did and said was correct in our 2022 mature understanding, right? But there was an awakening that was happening at the time. And they used peace as a weapon. Do you know peace could be a weapon? They would have these sit-ins, and they would put masses of flowers on the front lines, be surrounded by flowers. It was a visual spectacle that would cause people to think, oh, wait a minute, you know, maybe there is something more. Maybe there's something better. They were called hipsters in the beginning because they had the low-slung, hip-hugging pants. And then eventually hipsters became hippies. But it actually started in the 1940s. If you were a jazz musician, you were a hip. All right, you were hip. You were up to date. You were with it. You were cool, you know. Because they were interested in what? In the present moment. Because they realized in jazz music, it helped you to get in the present. And to feel, you know, the music, and to see the music, and to be in the present with it. Do you know there's it's not a disorder, but there is a something that some people have. I was reading about a gentleman who plays the guitar, and whenever he plays music, he actually sees colors. And different chords would make different colors. And there are people that have this. And so when they start playing music, they see it. And a lot of these jazz musicians, you know, they had this. And they could literally see the music become colors and shapes and forms. Isn't that something? It's a gift. Yes, I would call it a gift as well. So flowers speak also of emotional maturity. They don't have to tell, they show. Do you see the difference? The flowers don't tell us anything, they show us. And it's just really God's way of saying, I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm with you. I'm all around you. Their beauty is the sign of the divine intelligence. A divine intelligence that's talking to us. That say, you have meaning. You have purpose. You're supposed to be here. Right? Say it with me. I'm supposed to be here. Absolutely. You know that having flowers around you can calm you, calm your mind, and it enhances your emotional state. You know, just having them around, just the scent, just every once in a while. It's like Eckhart Tolle. I was listening to him one time, and he said that sometimes he would sit down at the computer, you know, and he would write. And he got really involved in it, and he realized there was no beauty there, you know, in all of that. And so he got a flower and set on his desk. So every once in a while, he'd just look over at the flower and just remember, yeah, there's a higher life, there's a higher way, there's a greater essence, there's a God intelligence, there's something, you know, there's a stillness, there's a quietness. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. I don't have to act a certain way. I can just be myself. Isn't that wonderful? Because that's what flowers do. They are just themselves. They show up as their own beautiful, unique selves. You know, there have been times in my life where I remember a certain group. We would have these all-day prayer and meditation times. And it was interesting, there was a few times when as we were sitting there that we would begin to get the scent and the smell of roses. I mean, it was very obvious. There were roses. And so we started questioning, well, where's that coming from? But there were no physical roses in the room, right? It was like a divine impartation. It was the smell, the scent of something that was beyond the physical. It's beautiful. I love the smell of roses. Flowers are spiral. They're like they dance into reality when they open their petals. It's just a spiraling of those petals. They just spiral in, and there they are. So here I am. Notice me. Look at me. And if you can't see me, can you smell me? Right? Yeah. How many of us go around and asking people to smell us? It's like sometimes Leah and I would look at each other and say, do I smell bad? Do I need some deodorant? Usually, they don't last long, flowers, do they? Don't last very long. It's like tulips that show up in the spring and then they're gone. Isn't that interesting? It's like some people show up in our lives and they bless us for a little while and then they're gone. We can see how the patterns of life, people spiral in and they spiral out. And that's just the way of it. That's the way of things. And I know it's hard, isn't it? Because we want to hold on to them, our loved ones. We want to hold on to them as long as we can. And that's good. But then there comes a moment where we have to let go of each other. Because we're all spiraling in. And then we'll all spiral out at some point in time. And how many know it's important to make peace with that? We've got to make peace with that. I've met people over the years, they're still holding on after 20 years of a lost loved one. Well, let me tell you what happens. When you leave this world, you enter into another world, a higher, more beautiful, peaceful place. They're not hurting, right? As a matter of fact, they're still around and they're still sending you love. And sometimes you can sense them. I've sensed my dad hanging out sometimes, I remember when I was a kid, he called for me, Jim! Every once in a while I hear him calling my name. Yeah, what'd I do? But God's coming to us in physical form. Can you see it? Are you noticing it? Are you paying attention? The people who talk about having near-death experiences, they talk about these beautiful flower gardens, that they see in the afterlife. There's something about a flower, there's just something powerful and wonderful and beyond the norm about flowers, a variety of color. I love it. Right now, we got the tulips and we've got the bushes that are blooming and but it's only there for a while and then it's going to go, But it's just long enough to spark us. Hey, it's spring. It's spring. Life is happening all around us. Life is here. Life is now. Isn't it? And we know that God made all the different skin colors because we're all flowers in the garden of God, right? To reveal the beauty of each culture. Every culture has its own beauty. Every culture has its own way of doing things. Just because we don't understand another culture doesn't mean that there's not something good and beautiful there, right? Yeah, I enjoyed the culture of tacos the other day. And then one day I had Thai. And there was another time I had Chinese. You know what I mean? Culture is everywhere. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. You know, I remember growing up, we had basically just meat and potatoes and beans and cornbread and eggs and bacon and, just and then I remember when I grew up, and I started going out on my own and I started finding out, hey, there's all different kinds of tastes out there, right? And then after a while, you kind of, your palate begins to grow a little bit. It's wonderful. One time the Buddha gave a sermon where he didn't say anything. He just held a flower and gazed at it the whole time. And all of his disciples looked at him and go, what's up, dude? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? What's going on? But there was one of the monks who realized what was happening, and he smiled, and he smiled. And legend says that monk was the one who created Zen Buddhism, out of that experience of beholding the flower and finding enlightenment within himself. And then he invented or led him into Zen Buddhism. Isn't that interesting? It's amazing how a smile, one little smile, can say so much, right? Yeah, I see. Eckhart Tolle says, seeing beauty in a flower could awaken humans, however briefly, to the beauty that is an essential part of their own innermost being, their true nature. The first recognition of beauty was one of the most significant events in the evolution of human consciousness. The feelings of joy and love are intrinsically connected to that recognition. Without our fully realizing it, flowers would become for us an expression in form of that which is most high, most sacred, and ultimately formless within ourselves. Flowers more fleeting, more ethereal, and more delicate than other plants. What could be heavier and more impenetrable than a rock, the densest of all form? And yet, some rocks undergo a change in their molecular structure, and they turn into crystals, and so become transparent to the light. Some carbons, under inconceivable heat and pressure, turn into diamonds. Wow. You have a lot of pressure in your life? Is the heat on? Yeah. Look at the person next to you and say, you diamond, you. And even some other minerals will turn into precious stones. Any life form in any realm, mineral, vegetable, animal, or human, can be said to undergo the enlightenment process. It's what's happening to us. We all have flower power potential. But some are still a little green, a little immature. Or they're woven tight in a bud that hasn't opened up yet. Have you met people like that? They're just so, they won't allow themselves to open up and shine. How many know it's okay to be you? I know I say that a lot, but have you got it yet? Right? It's okay to be your true, natural self. Somebody said, James, I just want to be normal. Well, why do you want to be normal when you can be natural? Right? I just want to be natural. I just want to be who I am. If we just let each other be who we are and see what kind of flower that you could turn into, what kind of color that you could reveal to the world that's different than others. Right? Yeah. Weeds are also on this planet, but sometimes we cannot tell the difference between weeds and flowers. Takes a discerning eye, doesn't it? Though some weeds can be either or. Anybody here drink dandelion tea? Do you know it's good for your gut? It's good for your stomach. Helps to heal your gut. I've been drinking some dandelion tea, and it's helpful, and I enjoy it. But for the longest time, growing up, get those out of my yard, right? So, poison ivy or English ivy? Poison ivy or English ivy? Can you discern the difference? Carl Jung said that the pendulum of the mind alternates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. Say it with me. You just said a mouthful. Our minds vacillate between sense and nonsense. But we think we're right. Say it with me, that's just nonsense. Right? Now, every once in a while, I'm allowed to be right, but it's an occasional thing. You know what I mean? It's occasional. And that's okay with me. Each of us is called to it, but how does it happen? How do we become more enlightened? Well, you need a flower. What does a flower need? It needs sunshine. It needs the light. It needs the light. And the beautiful thing about the light is it provides warmth and causes a change that takes place in the flower, but it also reveals things in us too, doesn't it? When the lights turn on. Sometimes we don't want the light being turned on because we kind of like hiding ourselves in the darkness. Are you with me this morning? Is this all right? I'm almost done. You got to have the right kind of environment. Sunshine, and you need water. Yeah. Plant needs water. Not too much. Just enough. It's like sometimes we'll get some flowers in here, and somebody will come and say, oh, the flower's thirsty, and they'll put some water on it. And then somebody else will come in on another day, and they'll put some more water on the flower. And by the end of the week, the flowers are dead because they're overwatered, right? How many know you got to know how much to give to somebody else? Sometimes we try to give too much. We overwhelm people with our supposed enlightened way of thinking, right? And here's what we need to get. People are over it. How many are over those trolls on the internet that are always complaining and pointing out obvious things that we already know, right? It's just ridiculous. Say it with me. It's ridiculous. It's nonsense. If I can't say something good about somebody, then maybe I shouldn't say anything at all. That's an old-fashioned proverb, isn't it? Yeah. But as a flower, we need some space to move. We need some internal guidance. So when you're allowed to be your true natural self, you will become a beautiful flower in the garden of God. I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. Remember, in reality, there is only love. Only love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see There is only love. Yes, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
I invite you now just to quiet your mind for just a moment. And just relax. Just allow yourself to just lean back now into the loving arms of your Creator. Perhaps if you listen, pay attention to what you notice. You might see that inside of you there's a seed of love. Maybe it hasn't manifested fully and completely just yet, but you're on your way. You just need a little sunlight, a little bit of water, a little bit of care, maybe someone to talk to you, and to speak words of peace, affirmation, acceptance. Someone to just tell you that you're okay right here, right now, right where you're at. You don't have to be perfect, because what is perfect anyway? Maybe you already are. Perfect where you are now. But inside there is this process taking place where that loving spirit, that loving presence is causing you to open up more and more and more and more. And the more you can accept yourself and just be with you, because you will always be with you. Just enjoy the process and notice the good that's beginning to bloom and blossom in your life. And whenever you see it, to take a moment to just appreciate it and give thanks for those blessings, for the all-loving goodness of God. We're surrounded by it. It's with us every day, in so many ways, shapes, and forms. And when we pay attention to it, it draws us to a higher way of being, to a more gracious state. And we become less judgmental. We're able to let go of our fears of rejection, fears of being hurt or betrayed. And we enter into a safe space, a haven of peace, where it's just me, it's just God, it's just us. What a beautiful place to be. So I invite you to forgive yourself this morning for any mistakes that you made this week, so-called, any errors in judgment. Just take a moment to let all of it go. And while you're at it, include everybody else too in that prayer. As I forgive me, I forgive all. I let go of my need to be right and my need to be better than or more than anybody else. Because I know that at some level we're all flowers in the divine garden. So who am I to say that this person, at their level of consciousness, doesn't have a right to be or exist? Because there they are. There they are. So we send healing prayers now throughout the world for peace and harmony and understanding. The beautiful Rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley, the Christ Spirit, sharing its essence and its beauty with all people everywhere. If you know of someone that you'd like to pray for right now, I invite you to bring their essence into this moment. Maybe even gently speaking their name aloud. And we know that there are many that are hurting. There are many that are experiencing all kinds of tragedy and all over the world. Our loved ones and family and friends that maybe need a little something extra, a little grace, a little kindness. So let us send them now a flower of our consciousness, some love and kindness and peace. May all be well with you, my dear friend. For we only want to love and bless you and appreciate you and see you come into that full bloom. We pray for all people everywhere. We hold them all. May all find peace. May all be whole. May all find safety and care. And so we give thanks now in the name of the Christ. I invite you to sit with me for just a moment as the music plays and just notice what you notice. Be healed, body, mind, and spirit. We say thank you, thank you, thank you, God. And so be it, and so it is. All right. Thank you for your prayers this morning. We're going to Slowly turn the lights back on. Thank you, Jeff. Beautiful. All right. I'm so glad you're here this morning. Thank you for being here. If you enjoy unity and you feel like it is your haven of peace, we invite everyone to give this morning. We really appreciate your giving. It really makes a difference. And for those in the room, right afterwards, if you don't mind, there's a basket in the back. And if you could take care of that first thing, we've got people that will count it and put it away, and that will help them to be able to get that done. But thank you for your giving. We appreciate it. It really means so much. How many noticed that there's no big tree laying out there on the property? Did you notice it when you came in? Yeah. I want to thank John Finger and his family for taking care of that for us. Thank you, John. Absolutely. Looks so much better. Wow. And it was a job, wasn't it? It was not easy. I watched them out there. Big, wow. There was a lot to it. So thank you for that. We really appreciate it. Appreciate all of our volunteers. Thank you for being an usher. We've got our nursery is opening back up now for 4 and under, and then we're starting the classes once again. 5 and to 10, and then 11 to 13, and then the YOU is going to be meeting at a different time. I'm not sure when. Do you have any words on that, Cheyenne? Nope, not yet? Okay. All right. So, but. I know it'll probably be on Sundays after church. Yeah, okay. All right. We're talking about having the YOU right after church, and they get together and have pizza and rap and talk and just have a good time. So I think teens need that. They need a safe place they can just be and talk with each other and share with each other. How many would like to be a teenager in this day and age? Yeah.
No, thank you.
It's very interesting, isn't it?
Hey, don't forget our landscaping team, too. You're talking about flowers.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Just making the property just gorgeous these days.
Yeah, the beautiful flowers that we have. Thank you to the folks that plant the flowers and take care of them and make sure they grow. Some of us have greener thumbs than others, right? We really appreciate it. Hey, Easter's coming up. We're going to have a potluck right afterwards out in the pavilion. So we're gearing up toward that to be maybe like a grand reopening, our homecoming. So invite all your friends. We've sent out cards to all the members and attendees and inviting people to come. So if for some reason you don't get a card, it's only because we don't have your correct address or we don't have your address. So let us know. All right? We're going to end with a song. Down inside you, go to the light and turn it on. You can stop searching all around you, go to the light and turn it on. In the face of darkness, let your love light shine on someone in need. Darkness is the absence of light, so just go turn on the light. And a light there shall be. For what already is, just go to the light and turn it on. What you've been seeking isn't so far. All that you want, you already are. Let your love light shine in the face of darkness. Let your love light shine in someone in need. Darkness is the absence of light, so just go turn on the light. And a light there shall be. Darkness, let your love light shine on someone in need. Darkness is the absence of light, so just go turn on the light. And a light there shall be. Shall be. And a light there shall be. All right. I want to thank Kyle Shiver for writing that song for us. Beautiful song. You know, just like a flowering of consciousness that shows up, right? I want to thank Jeff for being on the drums. Jeff Holland. I've been talking about having, drumming here on Wednesday night at the church. How many would enjoy that? Enjoy drumming? Having drummers here? All right. And then, Chris, thank you for playing this morning. We really appreciate you being here. Wow. And yes, he is Leah's son. And mine too. And that's Leah on the keyboard there. So good job. Yeah. Thank you, Sharon and Kayla, for taking care of all the media stuff for us this morning. Hey, one other thing. How many noticed there was coffee here this morning? There was coffee here. Isn't that fantastic? So thank you all for donating. We thank Elizabeth Wilkerson for raising money for us to be able to buy the coffee machine, and we appreciate it. We're going to get some more coffee this week, some good coffees in here, and things are coming along. Don't forget, we'll be back here next week, and we're also going to be starting our Tuesday morning meditations again here very soon in May. So things are coming back. The flowers are coming back, right? Spring is here. Let's all stand together. Leah does the little Oscar thing for me to play me off the stage, right? Hey, we love you guys. Thanks for being here. Let's say together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. For wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right, give somebody a fist bump and tell them you're glad to see them, all right? We'll see you next time.